Hey everyone, welcome to Reality TV News Update, the place where we bring you the latest updates, fun moments, and behind-the-scenes stories you won't want to miss. It was immediately evident that Mickey's exit from the Big Brother 27 house would not be quiet when she walked out to a mix of applause and audible gasps. Throughout the season, Mickey positioned herself as a bold strategist, an emotional competitor, and, at times, a lightning rod for controversy. Mickey is now speaking candidly in her first extended exit interview about the backlash she received for her remarks about Rachel, the polarizing head of household reign that reshaped the game, and the moments she claims viewers didn't get to see. "I knew people were going to have opinions," Mickey admits with a measured sigh, "but I don't think anyone is ever really prepared for how loud those opinions get once you leave the house." The comments that sparked a firestorm. During the middle of the season, Mickey made a series of comments about Rachel that quickly sparked debate among fans and are the source of much of the controversy surrounding her game. Some viewers felt Mickey crossed a line, while others argued her words were taken out of context. "I want to be very clear," Mickey says firmly. "Nothing I said was motivated by personal animosity. It came from frustration, exhaustion, and game pressure." Mickey claims that the atmosphere of the house heightened each emotion. With sleep deprivation, constant surveillance, and mounting paranoia, conversations often escalated faster than players intended. "When you're in that house, there's no escape," Mickey explains. "No phone, no music, no private space. People around you hear you vent, and sometimes those vents become sound bites." Mickey says she reached out to Rachel immediately after the season to clear the air. She confirms that the two had a long, emotional talk, but she won't go into specifics. "We don't have to be best friends," Mickey says, "but I needed her to hear directly from me, not through Twitter clips, where I was coming from." Rachel's HOH, strategy or sabotage. Rachel's head of household reign will go down as one of the most divisive in Big Brother 27 history. The nominations shocked allies, fractured major alliances, and sent ripple effects through the rest of the season. Mickey, who found herself directly impacted by those decisions, says viewers only saw half the story. "It probably looked reckless from the outside," Mickey observes. "From the inside, it felt calculated, but emotional." Mickey reveals that the days leading up to Rachel's HOH week were marked by tense conversations, shifting loyalties, and what she refers to as unspoken ultimatums. "There were deals being floated that never made it to air," Mickey claims, "promises that were broken in an instant." Mickey says that Rachel felt trapped by the dynamics of the house and believed that the only way forward was to make a bold move. "Was it messy? Absolutely," Mickey acknowledges, "but I don't think it was malicious." The decision that changed everything. When Rachel chose to nominate a perceived ally rather than backdoor a clear target was one of the most infamous episodes of the season. The move stunned fans and left Mickey questioning her own standing in the game. "That was the moment I realized nothing was safe," Mickey says. "Not loyalty, not history, not conversations you thought mattered." Mickey recalls standing in the kitchen after the nomination ceremony, realizing her name had been floated far earlier than she'd been told. She says bluntly, "I felt played, and that's when my game shifted from trusting to surviving." From that point forward, Mickey adopted a more aggressive strategy, one she believes contributed to the perception that she became cold or calculated. When your back's against the wall, you stop worrying about how you're perceived, you worry about tomorrow. Backlash from fans and shock on social media. More than just giving goodbye hugs, leaving the house meant being immediately exposed to the reactions on social media. Mickey says the first few hours after eviction were overwhelming. "I won't lie, it was a shock," she declares. "You go from zero information to everything all at once." She admits that some of the personal attacks were difficult to process, even though Mickey anticipated criticism. She states, "It's one thing to critique gameplay, it's another thing to question your character." Despite the negativity, Mickey says she's also received messages of support that reminded her why she played in the first place. "People telling me they related to my emotions, my mistakes, that mattered." Regrets, reflections, and what she'd do differently. Asked if she regrets how she handled the Rachel situation, Mickey pauses before answering. "I regret how it came across," she says carefully. "I don't regret standing up for myself." She admits she would choose her words more carefully if given the chance. "Intent doesn't erase impact," Mickey acknowledges. "That's something I've learned in a very public way." In terms of her overall performance, according to Mickey, she played harder than many viewers believed. She claims, "There were strategic conversations occurring at 3 a.m. that never aired. I was thinking 10 steps ahead, not just reacting." Nevertheless, she acknowledges that her emotional responses occasionally harmed her strategy. "In Big Brother, emotion is both a weapon and a weakness," she says. "I made it both." The reality of the Big Brother house. Mickey is quick to defend her fellow house guests, including Rachel, against accusations that certain players were villains. "No one is one-dimensional in the house," she says. "Editing has to tell a story, but real people are complicated." She emphasizes that viewers frequently overlook the isolation of the experience. "You don't know how America sees you," Mickey says. "You're making decisions in a vacuum." That isolation, she says, contributed to the misunderstandings that fueled conflict. "Silence breeds paranoia," Mickey adds, "and drama is caused by paranoia." Life after eviction. Mickey says that now that she is out of the house, her focus is on reuniting with her family, processing the event, and showing herself grace. "I went on a reality show," she laughs softly. "I didn't expect to be perfect going in." She says she would approach reality television differently if she were to return. "I'd play smarter with my words," she says. "However, I'd still play hard." Thoughts on Rachel and the season as a whole. Regarding Rachel, Mickey expresses the hope that time will permit fans to reconsider the infamous HOH reign. "History tends to soften sharp edges," she says. "I think people will eventually realize that her decisions, as flawed as they were motivated by fear rather than cruelty." Mickey believes that Big Brother 27 will be remembered as an unpredictable season. She declares, "No one coasted. Everyone was punished." Mickey ultimately upholds her authenticity despite the cost. She says, "I was real."
Few players this season inspired as much debate as Mickey, whose sharp tongue, fearless strategy, and unforgettable head of household reign turned her into one of the most talked about figures of the summer. Mickey is finally addressing the backlash over her comments about Rachel, revealing the truth behind her controversial HOH decisions, and revealing what viewers didn't see behind the scenes in her most candid exit interview yet. For Mickey, the post-game reflection is less about regret and more about clarity. She declares, "I played the game I promised myself I would play." That does not imply that it was flawless, but it was sincere. Having a goal in mind before entering the game. She claims she was realistic about her position from the moment Mickey entered the Big Brother 27 house. "I knew I wasn't going to be underestimated," Mickey explains. "I speak my mind. I have confidence. That alone makes you a target." Rather than shrinking herself to fit into the house dynamics, Mickey leaned into her strengths. She observed social bonds closely, mapped out voting blocks early, and identified players she believed would be difficult to beat at the end. She claims that Rachel was at or near the top of that list. Mickey asserts Rachel had everything going for her: social connections, competition ability, and experience. That would have been bad gameplay to ignore. The comments about Rachel. The situation is important. One of the most memorable controversies of the season was the reaction to Mickey's remarks about Rachel. Mickey admits that she was surprised by how certain events were perceived once she left the house. "I get why people were upset," she says, "but the full context was what people didn't see." Mickey says that she said a lot of things during late-night strategy talks when she was tired and anxious. She elaborates, "In that house, you're constantly questioning everyone's motives. You openly discuss potential outcomes. Every sentence is not intended to be an individual attack." Mickey maintains that her remarks were not personal, but rather strategic. She asserts, "I was never attacking Rachel as a person. I was referring to Rachel as a player and a risky one," I said. However, Mickey does not discount the significance of her words. She admits, "Intent doesn't erase impact. I understand that now more than ever. Inside the HOH room's pressure cooker. Mickey's head of household reign is now considered one of the most chaotic and polarizing in Big Brother 27 history. Mickey describes what viewers perceived as erratic as calculated under extreme pressure. She asserts, HOH isn't power, it's exposure. Every conversation is an examination. Mickey reveals that when she won HOH, she already felt like she was losing the house. She says, I wasn't sitting pretty. People think I had all these options. I did not. The house was shocked by her nominations, which put players from different sides of the game on the block and indicated that no alliance was safe. Mickey asserts, I had to force people to show their cards. The enemy of that house is comfort. One of the biggest questions fans still debate is why Mickey didn't take a direct shot at Rachel when she had the chance. Mickey comments, that move looks obvious from the couch. It was a trap inside the house, she said. She feared that eliminating Rachel too early would unite the remaining players against her. Rachel was a shield, Mickey explains. I wasn't the biggest threat as long as she was there. The move that changed everything. Mickey admits that she had a moment during her HOH week when she realized that things were falling apart despite her careful calculations. She recalls, there was a conversation that didn't go how I expected it to. That's when I realized I was in trouble, I said. Players began to distance themselves as a result of the spread of information she believed to be safe. I could feel the walls closing in, she says, when survival mode kicks in at that point. Some house guests were taken aback by her veto decisions, and others questioned her loyalty as a result. She admits, I underestimated how emotional the house was. Big Brother is not always a game of logic. Life as the villain in the house. By the end of her HOH reign, Mickey was no longer just a strategist, she was a symbol. She was viewed as an example of fearless play by some. She was seen by some as the season's villain. Mickey declares, I never set out to be the villain, but I also wasn't afraid of it. She thinks that the game needs players who are willing to take risks. She asserts, the game dies if everyone plays safe. Someone has to shake things up. Mickey also mentions that labels frequently overlook complexity. She clarifies, you're seeing a character. I'm a real person reacting in real time. The aftermath. Conversations with Rachel. One of the most important post-season moments for Mickey was finally speaking with Rachel outside the house. Mickey confirms, we spoke privately, and it was important. She says that the conversation was sincere, emotional, and respectful in the end. Mickey says, I explained where my head was at. Rachel told me how she felt about certain things. Mickey apologized not for participating in the game, but rather for the way that some of her words came across. I stand by my strategy, she says, but I still have the ability to say I could have handled that better. Despite the fact that they are not best friends, Mickey claims that they share an understanding. She adds, we both love the game. That creates common ground. Watching the season back. Mickey's first encounter with edited episodes was a surreal one. She says, it's wild. You realize how much the audience doesn't see. She notes that some relationships appeared stronger on TV than they felt in the house, while others were minimized entirely. There were alliances that existed for weeks that never made air, Mickey reveals. That alters how others evaluate your moves. Despite that, she accepts that perception is part of the game. She asserts, when you sign up, you give up control of the narrative. What Mickey would do differently. While Mickey does not regret playing aggressively, she admits that if given another chance, she'd make some adjustments. She says, I'd manage my image more, not change who I am, just soften the edges. She also acknowledges that listening more could have helped her navigate tense situations. Mickey acknowledges, sometimes silence is strategy. The hard way I learned that. Still, she stands firm in her identity as a player. She says, I'd rather go out swinging than coast to jury. The fans and the fallout. Mickey has seen the comments, both supportive and critical. She appreciates the passion, she says.
Even the hate means people cared. She encourages fans to remember the human element behind the gameplay. She says no one is perfect under that pressure, especially when millions of people are watching. Mickey has a straightforward response for those who view her as the season's antagonist. Villains make the story interesting, she says with a smile. Would she play again? When asked if she'd return for another season, Mickey doesn't hesitate. Yes, she says, in a heartbeat. But next time, she'd bring experience and patience. She says, I'd let other people take the heat. I don't need to make every move myself. As for Rachel, Mickey chuckles. She'd still be a threat. That has not altered. Final reflections. Mickey Lee's Big Brother 27 journey was messy, bold, and unforgettable. Her HOH reign may have divided the house and the fandom, but it also injected urgency and unpredictability into the season. I didn't play to be safe, Mickey says in closing. I played in order to be real. In a game where fear often rules, Mickey chose bravery even when it meant paying a price. She made moves, sparked conversation, and left an impact that will not be soon forgotten, regardless of whether she's remembered as a villain, a mastermind, or something in between.